So here is a lesson on significant figures and decimal places. I'm going to start with significant figures. These are basically the digits in a number. It's as simple as that. So the first number I've got here is 38. 38 has two sig figs, the 3 and the 8. 6,412 has 4. 7.91 has 3. Now 0.07, now there is a rule that you do not count the noughts at the beginning. So if your number starts with 0 point or 0.0, you don't count them as significant figures. So 0.07 only has one significant figure. Okay, so what you might be asked to do, we've got a number here, 671, which has 3 sig figs at the moment. You might be asked to correct that number to 1 sig fig. Now this is a little bit like rounding. So we're going to correct or change 671 to 1 sig fig. So what I would like you to do is underline the 6, because we're going to change it to 1 sig fig. But we're going to have a look at who's next door. So we'll put a little arrow and we'll see that next door is a 7. Now because it's a 5 or above this 7, it's going to alter our first digit. It's going to push it up 1. So the first digit becomes 7. And then we need to fill in these two placeholders here, these two digits, and they become noughts. So 671 gets rounded to 700 and it's now 1 sig fig. I'll do another one on the far side here. Let's say we had 832. We need to change that to 1 sig fig. So underline our first digit. Have a look next door. It's only a 3 this time. So it doesn't push the 8 up. So the 8 stays as an 8. And I need to fill in the 2 placeholders there. So it becomes 800. 832 to 1 sig fig is 800. It works the same way if there's a decimal point involved. So let's say we're going to change 7.48. We're going to round it to 2 significant figures. Now because we're going to round it to 2 significant figures, this time I'm going to underline the second significant figure. And again we need to look next door, put a little arrow and see what it is. It's an 8 this time. So that is a 5 or above. So that 8 is going to push the 4 up to a 5. So our new number is 7, that doesn't change, 0.5. Now I could put a nought in here, fill in that space, but actually it doesn't make any difference to the number. So you don't actually need to put that nought in. I'm going to get rid of it. So your answer is 7.5. On the right here, this is one that I call the exception to the rule. Because if I was to change this one to 2 significant figures, I would underline my second significant figure, because that's the one that's going to change. And I will look next door and see that it's an 8. So that's 5 or above, so it pushes our 9 up. Now because that's already a 9 here, this is already a 9, that effectively goes to 10, and therefore the 4 gets pushed up. And this is the only time this happens. So my answer now is going to be 5. Now I could put 0.00 in, but that makes no difference to the number. So the answer is actually, well actually no, sorry, I beg your pardon. They asked for 2 significant figures, so I need to put in 5.0. That now has 2 significant figures. Okay, now a quick look at decimal places. Now decimal places are just the digits that come after the decimal point. So in 8.3 we have 1 decimal place, 1 dp. In 7.41 we have 2. And in 0.007 we do count these zeros, so there would be 3 there. Now in the same way, we can round a number to a certain amount of decimal places. So let's say 7.16, we want to round it to 1 decimal place. So I'm going to underline the first decimal place, and I'm going to have a look next door with my arrow and see what it is. It's a 6, so that does push the 1 up to a 2. So my answer will be 7. That will not change. 7.2. Do I need this 0 here? No, because it doesn't make a difference to the value, so that can disappear. 7.2. Another one on the right, 15.374. Now I'm going to round this to 2 decimal places this time. 2 decimal places. So I'm going to underline the second decimal place. I'm going to have a look next door. It's a 4, so that doesn't change the 7. So my answer will be 15.3. The 7 doesn't change. Do I need a 0 in there? No, I don't. 15.37. And that is decimal places. Thank you very much.